Part 112. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1111. Xiaoping'an was thinking about things in his mind, but his thoughts were not slow, and he came to the outside of Giwan Hall before he knew it. The Dragon Stone welcomes Elder Zen. It wasn't until the sound of the Dragon Stone appeared in his ears that Xiaoping'an's thoughts were completely brought back to the present. Xuanlongshi stood guard at the door of Giwan Hall, bowing to Xiaoping'an and bowing to the ground. Elder Shi doesn't need to be like this, Xiaoping'an gently helped Elder Shi. Before he came to Giwan Hall to select the boundary beads, this honest and dull Xuanlongshi was like a spy guarding the hall. He usually only said to him, "I've met Elder Cicada," and then he took him to the secret treasury to select the world beads in a straightforward manner. Normally, he wouldn't say much about etiquette. It was just a routine matter. He wasn't cold, but he wasn't too polite either. Today, this Dragon Shi dolly greeted Xiaoping'an a little bit. A shy smile appeared on Xuanlongshi's honest and rigid face. Elder Cicada went to Fudan Mountain for the Xuanlong family, defeated the Lingxi family, and made great achievements. Although I am an old man with low strength, I am guarding this hall for the Chanlong family, but it is also an honor. All the world beads collected this time are still in the secret treasury and have not been selected by anyone. I will wait for Elder Zen to return and ask Elder Zen to follow me. Sure enough, justice is in people's hearts. Xiaoping'an sighed in his heart. This time he captured Fuan Mountain for the Chuanlong family. After coming back, he felt different from before. Even Elder Shi was much more enthusiastic towards him than before, as if he was a different person. The two entered the main hall, went to the underground secret warehouse with ease, opened the door of the secret warehouse, and Xuanlongshi waited respectfully outside the door, allowing Xiaoping'an to go in and make a selection. As soon as Xiaoping'an entered the secret vault, he was slightly stunned because he found that the layout of the secret vault had changed a bit. Previously, every time the world beads in the secret vault were collected, they were sorted and stored in various shelves above, and now, as soon as he came in, he saw hundreds of world beads and some spiritual crystals mixed together. They were not sorted and separated. They were all placed on the most conspicuous shelf in the secret vault, making it clear for everyone to see at a glance. In the past, he had to walk around the secret warehouse to see the new world beads. Now, it seems that all the newly collected world beads are placed here. Xiaoping'an just glanced at it and saw several fresh boundary beads that had not been fused. One of them was flashing with a faint golden light. The two small seal characters "University" in the boundary beads made Xiaoping'an see it. His heart shook slightly, and a divine light suddenly flashed in his eyes. Is this university the same as the university in the Confucian classics? This is one of the 4 books and 5 classics of Confucianism. Such a classic world bead is hard to come across. Xiaoping'an's secret mandala is not yet complete. Once such a classic world bead is integrated, it will have a profound impact on the entire secret mandala. The strength of the summoned characters will be improved. Elder Zen, these are the newly arrived world beads, which have not been classified yet. These new world beads are put together so that it is convenient for Elder Cicada to select, and it also saves Elder Cicada some time. After Elder Cicada has finished selecting, I will give them to them. Just sort them and put them on the books. Xuanlongshi's voice came from outside the secret warehouse. Xiaoping'an knew that this elder Xuanlongshi had already given him the greatest preferential treatment and privileges within his scope of authority. According to the rules of the Xuanlong family, the new world pearls must be classified and filed when they arrive at the secret vault. He came here by himself before it was like this at that time, but this elder Xuanlongshi now puts all the new world pearls in front of the secret warehouse so that he can choose easily. After he has finished selecting, he will sort these world pearls and put them away. Elder Shi is interested, Xiaoping'an said, and with a wave of his hand, the university world bead on the shelf in front of him flew into his hand. Xiaopinghan took a serious look at the world bead and found that the golden light and shadow of the world bead was a bit special. If he looked closely, the golden lights were like golden bamboo slips connected together. At this moment, Xiaopinghan felt in his heart, I am sure, and nod secretly, this university world pearl is the great university of the 4 books and 5 classics, and there will be no other. As soon as he thought again, a few more fresh world beads flew directly towards him on the shelf. Coincidentally, among the few fresh world pearls, there is also one that is biting your fingers to feel distressed. The protagonist of the story biting your fingers to feel distressed is Zhengzi. It is said that Zhengzi served his mother since he was a child and was extremely filial. In ancient times, communication was inconvenient. At that time, when Zhengzi's mother was thinking about Zhengzi, no matter where Zhengzi was, as long as his mother bit his finger and hurt him, Zhengzi would feel distressed, and then he would know that something was wrong with his mother, so he would rush back home. This ability is simply stronger than the supersensory twin crystals. Zhengzi is also the author of The Great Learning. I didn't expect to get 2 of Zhengzi's world beads today. There are 2 other divine power world beads, one is Fanzaya Qi and the other is Yangchun Beixiu. After harvesting the 4 world beads, Xiaopinghan turned around and walked out of the secret warehouse and came to the dragon stone. Elder Shi, did you receive these 2 world beads together? Xiaopinghan asked, pointing to the university and biting fingers to feel distressed boundary beads on his hand. Ah, how did Elder Cicadin know? Huanlongshi glanced at Xiaopinghan in surprise before explaining, yes, these 2 world beads were obtained from a general-level summoner by my family's trading firm in Dian City. According to the summoner who bought it, these 2 world beads were exploded after he killed a monster in the underground abyss. Usually, a monster only has 1 world bead, but sometimes, some monsters may have more than 2 boundary beads. Oh, that's it, Xiaopinghan nodded, thinking that no wonder Zhengzi's world beads were all gathered together. World pearls can be obtained in some places in the secret realm of spiritual desolation. However, with Xiaopinghan's current strength and status, it is too inefficient to obtain new world pearls by hunting monsters. It is much faster than directly buying them from the market. Just like the poor who want to eat game have to hunt and raise it themselves, but the rich don't have to go through so much trouble if they want to eat it. It is basically impossible to fuse these 2 world beads without the divine mind crystal, but if the fusion fails, you will not die, so the summoner is willing to sell it, especially this world bead. Huanlongshi pointed at the university world bead, with a look of memory on his face. I saw this world bead many years ago in the largest auction house in Shenzhen. The person who bought it at that time, it is an 8th level god in Shenzhen. That 8th level god is also the patriarch of a super family. However, due to his strength and background, he later failed to integrate this world bead in a family ceremony. As far as I know, there is basically no record of successful fusion of this world bead, and I have never seen the corresponding spiritual crystal. Huanlongshi enthusiastically explained to Xiaopinghan the situation of the Shangjizu. Okay, thank you Elder Shi. After putting away the boundary pearl, Xiaopinghan left Giwan Hall and returned directly to his purple bamboo courtyard. Everything is business as usual at Zizuyuan. After summoning the guards, Xiaopinghan came to the secret room, activated the formation disc, and then began to fuse the boundary beads. The first thing Xiaopinghan fused was the world bead Yangchun Beixiu. This world bead can be fused by anyone who knows a little about illusions. This illusion comes from Song Yu's reply to King Xuanhuan. Corresponding to Yangchun Beixiu, there is another. The illusion is called SpecialAbilities. In simple terms, Yangchun and Beixiu correspond to the elegant music of the time, while Xiali and Ba-Ren are popular songs that the people liked at that time. After fusing Yangchun Beixiu's world bead, Xiaopinghan quickly fused the world bead of Fanzaya's Heike, and then transformed into Zhengzi, fused with the world bead of biting fingers and feeling distressed. Fusion of these 3 world beads, Xiaoping, and it was done safely in less than a few hours. Waiting until the end, Xiaoping shed his blood to fuse the world pearl of university. Ah, how could this happen? In the world of Jizu, what appeared in front of Xiaoping were pieces of golden bamboo slips like giant pillars. Xiaoping stood in the void, with stars in the sky above his head and the vast earth beneath his feet. Those bamboo slips and he were here alone, standing tall on the ground. There were no characters or scenes around him, only a vast and profound aura surrounding him, lifting him up and floating in the void. This was the first time Xiaoping had seen such a fusion scene. After the initial surprise, Xiaoping just calmed down a little, and after thinking for a moment, he started to recite directly. The way of a university is to be clear and virtuous, to be close to the people, and to stop at the highest goodness. After knowing the stop, there is concentration, concentration. Then you can be calm, and then be at peace and then be able to worry, and then be able to gain. Things have their origins, things have their beginnings and endings, and if you know the sequence, you will get the shortest way. As soon as Xiaoping opened his mouth, the content on the bamboo slip in front of him turned into shining golden words and appeared directly on the bamboo slip. This shocked Xiaoping, so that was it. At the same time, Xiaoping also knew why others couldn't fuse such a world bead. If you don't remember university, if you ask him to fuse this world bead, he would be damned if he could successfully fuse it. However, this fusion scenario seems difficult, but for him, it is the simplest and most efficient. A smile gradually appeared on Xiaoping's face. In ancient times, if you want to bring enlightened virtue to the world, you must first govern your country. If you want to govern your country, you must first regulate your family. If you want to regulate your family, you must first cultivate your body. If you want to cultivate your body, you must first rectify your mind. If you want to be righteous, you must first rectify your mind. To be sincere in your heart, you must first be sincere in your intentions. If you want to be sincere in your intentions, you must first gain knowledge. To gain knowledge is to investigate things. After observing things, you will know what you are doing. After knowing what you are aware of, you will be sincere in your intentions. If your intentions are sincere, then your heart will be upright. If your heart is upright, you will cultivate your body. If you cultivate your body, you will have a harmonious family. If you have a harmonious family, you will then govern the country. If the country is governed, then the world will be peaceful. From the emperor to the common people, first of all, it is based on self-cultivation. The original is chaos, and the last ruler is wrong. What is thick is thin, and what is thin is thick, and it is not there. This is called knowing the root, and this is it's called knowing well. Xiaoping's clear voice shook the void. As the voice appeared, large golden characters continued to appear on the bamboo slips. The golden light on the bamboo slips shone brightly, forming golden light pillars that reached the sky and the earth, and filled the air with majesty. In that golden light, the lights and shadows of Confucius, his 72 disciples and many Confucian sages appeared in the golden light. They nodded and smiled at Xiaoping, and each of them shined their light on the bamboo slips of the university, turning the entire sky and earth into gold. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1112. In the secret mandala, with the perfect integration of the university boundary beads, the scale of the Holy Master's Hall has further expanded. In addition to the Analects of Confucius, the Holy Master's Hall has another classic masterpiece. A golden light rises from the Holy Master's Hall to the sky. Since then, countless scholars from inside and outside Lingxiao City have gone to the Holy Master Hall to observe and study the great university. Just when the changes in the Holy Master Hall were just completed, the fifth ray of golden divine flame was ignited without any suspense on the highest altar above the temple, and Xiaoping became a fifth-level deity. The light of the fifth ray of divine flame was as bright as the rising sun, shining on the entire secret mandala. It also shined through the mandala and into Xiaoping's body. The source of the great avenue in the world also has induction, penetrating the three realms, connecting the five elements, and mixing with all things. Miraculous and gratifying changes took place inside and outside the mandala, including Xiaoping's body. Just less than a day later, a new and powerful force appeared in Xiaoping's body like a clear spring from the ground, and the mandala blessed by that force was summoned. The attributes and abilities of various characters have also been greatly improved. Are you already a 5th level god? You are one step closer to becoming a god. In the temple of the secret mandala, Xiaoping, who exuded a powerful aura, clasped his hands behind his back and looked at the golden altar above the temple. Murmuring, he muttered to himself, and with the ignition of the 5th ray of divine flame, the originally illusory light and shadow of the unparalleled throne behind the altar became more real and clearer than before. It was moving from illusion to reality little by little. When the day when the throne rises is when Xiaoping goes to the altar to consecrate the god. At this moment, Xiaoping's heart surged with pride. Never before had Xiaoping been like this, firmly believing that he could become a god. With the change in Xiaoping's mentality, the entire temple's floor, dome, and giant pillars began to emit a faint brilliance. This time, the originally magnificent temple became even more sacred and majestic. The divine power nebula in the sky caisson was in the temple. The heights of the sky were spinning like a galaxy. At this moment, the entire temple became like a heaven. Congratulations, Lord, congratulations, Lord. At some point, a majestic and deep voice appeared behind Xiaoping, echoing throughout the temple. This voice was not made by one person, but by a group of people at the same time. Xiaoping slowly turned around and saw that a large group of people had arrived at the temple, divided into two teams and standing under the steps of the sky caisson where he was. Xuanhuan, Xiao He, Wen Tianxiang, Kui Hao, Chen Ping, Fan Li, Yi Yin and others stood on his left-hand side, while Han Xian, Shuirongui, Wu Zixu, Bai Qi, Li Mu, Ban Xiao, Zhonghuan, Wen Qiao and others stood on his left side. Armor, standing to his right. Lingxiao City's Prime Minister's Group, Counselors Group and Military Commanders Group, this civil and military team, are all gathered at this moment. There are still many outstanding people who are still in Lingxiao City because they do not have specific official positions. They have not come in. If they come in, it will be more lively. The people who came all held a white jade tablet in their hands, just like going to court. Seeing the fierce men in Chinese history appear next to him, Xiaoping was slightly in a trance at this moment, with a feeling of reality and illusion. His eyes fell on Han Xian and Shuirongui. During this period, the two were commanding troops outside. Xiaoping had not seen them for a long time. When they met again, they found that Han Xian's eyes were gleaming and his temperament was even more profound and unpredictable. It seems that both of them have made great progress during this period and have gained a lot. So many people came together this time, and each of them looked serious. They probably weren't here to congratulate him alone. Moreover, he still doesn't know when Han Xian and Shuirongui came back. Xiaoping murmured in his heart, scanning the faces with different temperaments in the hall, and smiled slightly. General and General Shui have been on an expedition for Lingxiao City during this time to protect the safety of Lingxiao City. Thank you for your hard work. Who are you? Did you come back in time? Just last night, when the Lord wholeheartedly integrated the world bead to ignite the 5th ray of divine flame, he didn't have time to come to see you. Han Xian bowed slightly and then spoke. Haha, just come back. Judging from the looks of the two of you, you have gained a lot during this period. Your progress is not small, not bad, not bad. Xiaoping said first. During the time when the two of them led the troops out, Xiaoping can only judge the movements of the two through the occasional new divine power on the divine prison tower. Judging from the newly added divine power, the number of troops the two of them led out to annihilate the enemy was close to 10 times the number of troops they led out to fight. This result is really scary. Compared with the progress of the Lord during this period, our progress is really not worth mentioning. When we led the army to leave Lingxiao City, the Lord had not yet ignited the divine flames, but when we come back today, the Lord's divine flames have already been lit. 5 rays were ignited, and the strength increased by more than 100 times. Godhood is just around the corner. There are also many changes inside and outside Lingxiao City. When I come back this time, General Shui and I almost don't recognize each other. Han Xian said with a smile. My dear, I didn't expect that when I come back this time, the population of our Lingxiao City has exceeded 40 million, and several cities are still being built outside the city. If you take charge of this foundation, it will really change every day, Xuanhuan said bluntly, directly facing Xiaoping, and gave a thumbs up, then swallowed, and asked with bright eyes, I heard that the Lord also subdued an unkillable army, worth over 100 million, with so many soldiers and horses, our Lingxiao City is strong enough to sweep all directions. Speaking of the unkillable soldiers, the generals all turned their eager eyes towards Xiaoping, and Wen Tianxiang's group of prime ministers and councillors also looked a little strange. In this atmosphere, several people's eyes directly fell on Wen Tianxiang, so Wen Tianxiang's face straightened and he stepped forward directly. Your Majesty, I have something to report. These people have clearly discussed something and are coming to have a showdown with him. No wonder they were discussing something mysteriously some time ago. I usually don't have much time to come to Lingxiao City. There are so many things going on inside and outside Lingxiao City, so I have to help you all. If you have any questions, you can just tell me, Xiaoping said directly. Lord, I think it's time for our Lingxiao City to show its fangs and intimidate the barbarians, Wen Tianxiang said sternly to Xiaoping. Xuanhuan then took a step forward and said in a deep voice, when we are weak, we should be forbearing. A small amount of forbearance will ruin our plans. But at this moment, as the strength of the Lord and our Lingxiao City is increasing day by day, we are no longer what we used to be. Those around Lingxiao City, the problems of small countries can already be solved. Xiao He then took a step forward. Although small countries like the Gru Divine Kingdom have many cities, their combat power is meager. If we, Lingxiao City, can solve these small countries and turn their urban land and population into ours, Lingxiao City's future will be ours. The development space will be completely opened, the room for maneuver can be expanded 10 times, and there is no need to be timid anymore. Kui Hao followed and took a step forward. Your Majesty, God will take the blame for not taking action. At this moment, it's really time for Lingxiao City to take action. Your Majesty has already been honored as a 5th-level god. How can he be punished by a few more people? A small country of demigods is under siege. We have performed divination in the past 2 days at the Taoist Tower. If your lord can make a prompt decision, there will be a sign of a flying dragon in the sky. Good luck. Han Xian also took a step forward. Over the years, I have completely figured out the situation of the small countries close to us, and I have also instigated them to kill each other and attack each other. They have no time to worry about anything else. As long as the Lord gives me millions of soldiers, I can pacify the surrounding countries for the Lord and relieve the Lord's worries. All the generals took a step forward at the same time, looking at Xiaoping with bright eyes. I am willing to fight for my lord. Xiaoping finally understood what these people wanted to do. He just smiled slightly and said, it seems that you already have a detailed battle plan, so let's talk about it. Seeing that Xiaoping had no objection, everyone was shocked. After taking a look at each other, Kui Hao waved his hand, and a huge combat sandbox map covering an area of more than 100 square meters appeared in the main hall. In the sandbox map, all the terrain and countries around Lingxiao City have been clearly marked. The small countries that everyone just mentioned are all spread out in a half-moon shape to the north of Lingxiao City, the Kingdom of Gruo, the Kingdom of Minjiao, the Kingdom of Fei Sickle, and the New Kingdom. Alliance of Gods, Day Kingdom. These cities in the Kingdom of God are scattered here and there, large and small, and there are almost more than 100 of them. These kingdoms of God are like princes, they do not belong to each other, and they are suspicious of each other and attack each other. The cities of these kingdoms on the sand table add up to 127 in total. Their territories and cities look like many, but in fact they are just a piece of scattered sand. It's easy to defeat them one by one. Han Xian kept his hands on the table and began to introduce to Xiaopingan. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, Z.Y. Hu. Chapter 1113. The voice of soldier immortal Han Xian echoed in the empty temple. Right now, more than 700,000 troops from the Gru Divine Kingdom and the Minjiao Divine Kingdom are fighting in the hinterland of the upper reaches of the Fila River with the million-strong army from the Feeling Kingdom. The New God Alliance and the Great Yeshenkuo is also an old enemy. Now the army of Daishenkuo is attacking the Iron Bone Mountain Fortress group of the New God Alliance. The total force invested by both sides is about 800,000. The Iron Bone Mountain Fortress group of the New God Alliance is located on the northwest border of the Gro Kingdom. These countries are currently at war. Following Han Xian's introduction, areas on the huge sand table lit up with colorful lights and shadows from time to time. In the light and shadow, fire, smoke, fortresses, and armies attacking each other appeared one after another on the ground of the sand table, looking more concrete and clear. Clear at a glance. Simple illusions, when used in conjunction with the war sandbox, are particularly effective at this time. Now the New God Alliance and the Gro Kingdom have a tendency to further form an alliance, while the Day Kingdom has begun to flirt with the Flying Scythe Kingdom. If we don't take action, the war between these divine kingdoms may soon evolve. It becomes a confrontation between the two alliances in this area. Xiaopingan didn't speak. He glanced at the northern area of the huge sand table. To the north and northwest of the three countries of Feeling Kingdom, Gro Kingdom, and Minjiao Kingdom, were the Day Kingdom and the New God Kingdom. Those cities in the alliance, and further north of the Day Divine Kingdom and the New God Alliance, are endless rolling mountains. There are no forces or divine kingdoms there. In the northwest, there are tens of millions of square kilometers. A huge swamp area. Further to the west of this swamp area, there are tens of millions of square kilometers of forest hills and frozen soil. There are no other forces from the Kingdom of God here. If you go further to the west, it is an endless desert. In the northeast of the area where Day Divine Kingdom and New God Alliance belong, across a large plain, you can see a coastline thousands of kilometers long. Lingxiao City is located in the south of the center of the map. Most of the areas south of Lingxiao City and surrounding areas are forests and wastelands, and there are no other divine kingdoms or forces. Judging from the area and location of Lingxiao City, once we capture these divine kingdoms, the direct land area of Lingxiao City can be expanded to more than 37 million square kilometers, and the power radiation area of Lingxiao City can reach 100 million. With more than square kilometers, the endless mountains to the north and the swamps and deserts to the northwest on the sand table will become Lingxiao City's natural barriers. In the future, even if there are strong enemies in these two directions, it will be difficult for the enemy's army to escape from these two directions. To attack us from all directions, only a small army can pass through these areas. In this way, the entire Lingxiao City can grow and develop calmly in the future, with a broad development depth. Complete the segregation of an area and gain access to the ocean. With this access, the Lord will be able to allow Lingxiao City to further expand in the future. The entire Divine Kingdom world has 36 continents and 72 ancestral mountains. Most of these continents and the ancestral mountains are separated by oceans. Therefore, being able to have access to the sea allows many Divine Kingdom forces to continue to expand after they grow to a certain extent. Important conditions for external expansion. After Han Xian introduced the situation of the various Divine Kingdom forces in the north of Lingxiao City, he had already painted a magnificent picture of Lingxiao City's future unification of this area. Han Xian's plan to dispatch troops was strange and unpredictable. He wanted to take advantage of the immortal war between the kingdoms of gods to directly divide his troops into 5 groups, mainly with the cavalry of the Immortal Legion, to attack Huanglong and directly attack God Group. Once the main cities of the country, the Minjiao Kingdom, the Flying Scythe Kingdom, the Day Kingdom and the New God Alliance are captured, once the main city temples of these Divine Kingdom forces are captured, for the demigod kings of those Divine Kingdoms, there are 2 paths, either surrender and allegiance, or wait to be destroyed. For Lingxiao City, the best defense is to attack. We already have this strength, and the time is ripe now. As long as there are no enemies around Lingxiao City, then the possibility of the enemy discovering us will be lower. After we win after these Divine Kingdoms, even if foreign enemies enter this area, it will be difficult for them to figure out our details in a short while. Han Xian concluded. Xiaopingyan looked at the sand table, his eyes flashed, but he said nothing. Kui Hao glanced at Xiaopingyan and added, "The master's cultivation speed is far faster than other strong men. In just a few years, the master has ignited 5 rays of divine flames, and is not far away from igniting the 9th ray of divine flames, and once the Lord ignites the 9th ray of divine flame, the Lord's kingdom of God will be completely formed, and will complete the final sublimation from the world of the kingdom of God, integrating into the divine space opened by the Lord, and sublimating in the kingdom of God." Previously, the most important task of Lingxiao City was to establish the territory of the kingdom of God for the Lord to be sublimated. The territory of the kingdom of God was grander, the larger the territory, the more resources, and the gods that the Lord mastered after becoming a god. The strength of space will also become stronger. Hearing what Kui Hao said, Xiaopingyan's eyes finally moved. Yes, his Lingxiao City will not exist forever in the world of the kingdom of God. Once he ignites the 9th ray of divine flames, his Lingxiao City will be destroyed by the gods. The national world sublimated into the divine space he created. Previously, in order to prevent Lingxiao City from being discovered and destroyed, Lingxiao City had been on the defensive. But after he advanced to the level of God and took control of the Immortal Legion, Lingxiao City should also take care of itself. Move, otherwise, wouldn't those 100 million Immortal Legions be wasted? I understand what everyone is saying, Xiaopingyan finally spoke, nodding lightly, and asked Han Xian, "Have you figured out the camps of the 5 Divine Kingdom forces clearly? Are there any demigod forces on the side of the heavenly Dao Lord mixed in with them? Because the kingdom of God appears randomly in various places in the world of the kingdom of God, and whether you are surrounded by enemies or friends depends on luck. Therefore, in some areas with complex surrounding environments, the camp to which the leader behind the kingdom of God belongs is generally a secret of the kingdom of God. Normally, these divine kingdoms will not take the initiative to promote the camp they belong to, but if you observe closely and collect intelligence carefully, you can also judge it through some clues. We have roughly figured out the camps of the 5 divine kingdoms. The Gru Divine Kingdom, the Minjiao Divine Kingdom and the New God Alliance are violent and bloody. In the main cities of their divine kingdoms, there are obvious buildings with the image of the devil's eye. The kings behind these 2 divine kingdoms should be demigods who belong to the side of the dominant demon god, while the kings behind Feeling Kingdom and Day Kingdom should be from the Sanshan clan, but they are following the evil path. Is not a demigod who dominates the heavens. After our spies and agents went deep into these 2 countries, they discovered that there were many mass graves hidden in these 2 countries. That was the long-term development of the 2 kingdoms. They are using living people to practice martial arts and practice secret techniques. Han Xian replied. It is absolutely impossible for a demigod on the side of the ruler of heaven to use living people to practice secret techniques. This is strictly prohibited. If someone dares to do this, he will never escape scrutiny. Therefore, anyone who can use living people to practice secret techniques cannot be the ruler of heaven. A demigod from one side. Xiaopinggan's eyes flashed with murderous intent, and the lines on his face suddenly became cold and stern. It turns out that they are all garbage. I didn't expect that these garbage are so close to Lingxiao City. Let's let the Immortal Legion move. Since you have already made plans to send troops then send troops according to the plan and try to clean up the garbage in the shortest possible time. Everyone in the temple looked at each other, and everyone was shocked. How many troops are you planning to send out, Your Majesty? Han Xian asked. The Immortal Legion dispatches an army of 5 million. I will go with the army. You will be the general, and the generals will be dispatched by you. Within 1 month, we will wipe out the garbage in the north. Xiaopinggan said firmly, making the final decision. 5 million troops may seem like a lot, but to the Immortal Legion, they only account for 5% of the Immortal Legion. This also shows Xiaopinggan's determination to use the power of plowing the courtyard to sweep holes in the shortest possible time. Completely eradicate that garbage, and first establish the basic territory of the future kingdom of God. If those demigod kings of the kingdom of God were in front of Xiaopinggan at this moment, Xiaopinggan could kill them with one finger. Fighting in the world of the kingdom of God would be more troublesome than fighting alone. With the command, the entire Lingxiao city suddenly started moving like a clockwork machine. 2 days later, the 5 million army set off from Lingxiao city one after another, divided into 5 groups, each with 1 million Immortal Legion cavalry, and headed straight for the northern territory of Lingxiao city. Xiaopinggan was in charge of the middle army, and led Han Xian and Wen Qiao as assistants, heading straight for the Feeling Kingdom. Xuanhuan and Xuanhuan led the second army, targeting the Gru Kingdom. Wu Zixu and Ban Chao led the third army, targeting the Minjiao Kingdom. The Killing God Bai Qi led the fourth army alone, targeting the main city of the New God Alliance, and Li Mu and Lu Qi led the fifth army, targeting the Kingdom of Day. Lingxiao city's dispatch this time was like a dragon emerging from the abyss and a fierce tiger descending from the mountain. It was beyond the expectations of everyone in the north, because until now, the divine kingdoms and forces in the north of Lingxiao city did not know that in this wilderness, there were in the few short years they have been harassing each other and fighting endlessly, they have given birth to a terrifying beast led by a powerful fifth-level god. Now this beast has restrained itself and started to show its claws. Golden Summoner. Author, Zy Hu. Chapter 1114. 3 years later, Mingxintang, the inner courtyard of the Xuanlong family. Huanlong Jinghong was sitting on the throne of the patriarch of Mingxintang. Several elders of the Huanlong family were sitting on both sides. The leader of the Qinlin Hall, who was responsible for collecting and inquiring intelligence information, was standing in the hall. During the meeting, I will report all the intelligence and information collected by Qinlintang to the big bosses in the family here. In addition to the war between the Ruolan family and the Gufeng family 2 months ago due to the Ziwan Mountain murder case, in recent days, a large-scale bloody battle broke out between the Qinyuan family and the Su family. Both sides summoned 20 tens of thousands of warriors fought on the family border. A direct demigod of the Qinyuan family was killed by the Su family's god-destroying crossbow during the battle. The fourth son of the Su family, Suno, was killed by the Qinyuan family. I heard that the reason for the enmity between the Qinyuan family and the Su family this time was that someone from the Su family saw an elder of the Qinyuan family kidnap the concubine of the head of the Su family, and waited until the head of the Su family found him. When I fell in love with my concubine, the woman had been defiled and turned into a medicine puppet, and the method of medicine puppet is the secret of Qinyuan family. Huanlong Jinghong listened, his brows twitching slightly. His hand caressing the faucet seat had unconsciously grasped the faucet on the seat tightly. Since Xuanhuan Chan, in the more than 3 years since returning from Fudan Mountain, the atmosphere among the ancient god blood descendants in the entire Shenting domain has become strange and full of blood. Everything was as expected when Xuanhuan Chan came back. As expected, various contradictions and conflicts began to break out between the ancient god blood families in the Shenting domain and between the war groups. Moreover, these contradictions and conflicts began to break out. Conflicts erupt suddenly and are difficult to resolve, and soon the involved parties enter a state of bloody battle. Normally, conflicts and wars break out between an ancient god bloodline family and another ancient god bloodline family. Those involved in the conflict are not just these two families, but also the huge network of relationships behind them. An ancient god bloodline family usually has allies and good friends with other ancient god bloodline families or war groups. When this ancient god bloodline family is involved in a war, many related forces and families will be involved. As a result, the situation becomes more complicated. This is only the situation in one large area of the Shenting domain. In other large areas, various conflicts arise between ancient god bloodline families, between war groups, and between ancient god bloodline families and war groups. It has entered a period of high incidence, just like someone has pressed a chaotic switch button. In the past 2 months, conflicts have broken out between several families descended from the ancient gods in the Shenting domain. I remember that 3 years ago, our Xuanhuan family and Lingxi family jointly informed the Ancient Gods Association that a powerful demon clan entered the Shenting domain and wanted to provoke war among the families descended from the ancient gods. At that time, the ancient gods, all the god blood families, have been notified by the Ancient God Association. An elder of the Xuanhuan family shook his head helplessly. I didn't expect that 1 year after the notification, what was supposed to happen still happened. The Ancient God Guild is an ancient organization established by many ancient god blood families in the Shenting domain. When the Ancient God Guild was first established, the seniors and ancestors of the ancient god blood families dreamed of building the Ancient God Guild into an organization that could let the blood descendants of the ancient gods unite to completely dominate and rule the powerful organization in the secret realm of the spirit wilderness. However, as time goes by and the complex conflicts between the ancient god blood families, this is destined to become an unresolved problem. In reality, the beautiful dream is that the ancient god society has now become a loose association of the ancient god bloodline families for exchanging information, and can occasionally mediate minor disputes between the ancient god bloodline families. Chanlong Jinghong just glanced at the account books without flipping through them, and shook his head. No need to look at it. By the way, has Elder Chan been here these days? A group of elders from the Xuanhuan family in the main hall immediately started discussing, but within 2 minutes, the discussion turned into a dispute, and it was a bit heated. Huan Longxi, who was guarding the door of Giwan Hall, was saluting to him. This is the account of the Giwan Hall's treasury and treasury. Please check it with the clan leader, Huan Longxi said. With a move of his hand, he took out several large golden notebooks, held them in both hands, and respectfully handed them to Huan Longjing. In front of Hong, does the clan leader need to check each warehouse? If the evidence of the demon clan's action is so easy to find, is it still the demon clan? In addition to the demon clan, there are some things that may be done by the ancient god bloodline family who secretly took refuge in the demon clan. It is also unknown. Huan Longjinghong said, and with a move of his hand, he took out his clan leader's waistband and showed it to Huan Longxi. Huan Longxi then stepped aside and extended his hand to say, "Clan leader, please come in." "Well, it's nothing. It's just that I haven't been here for a long time. Come here today to have a look," Huan Longjinghong said, and wanted to walk into the Giwan Hall, but he saw Huan Longxi pursed his lips and remained upright. Standing like a stone at the door of the hall, not getting out of the way, staring at his waist, as if he wanted to say something, Xuanlong Jinghong suddenly remembered something, and showed a self-deprecating smile. I almost forgot I have learned the rules here. Since the patriarch has the order, let me tell you straight. 2 years ago, every time Elder Cicada came to Giwan Hall, he could still take away 4 or 5 boundary beads from the newly arrived boundary beads. But starting from a year and a half ago, every time Elder Cicada comes to Giwan Hall, the number of world beads he can take away is getting less and less. Gradually, the number of 4 or 5 before has become 3 or 4, and then it has become 2, 3, 1, or 2, especially recently. In the past 6 months, Elder Cicada came here twice and returned empty-handed without taking away the new world pearl. Xuanlong Jinghong glanced at the expression on Xuanlong Shi's face and said, "It's nothing, but it doesn't matter. The clan leader came to Giwan Hall today." "What instructions do you have?" Xuanlong Shi asked. "Worry about what? The situation among the ancient god bloodline families is equally complicated. It is no longer news that some ancient god bloodline families have taken refuge with the demon clan. In the storm, every decision made by the Chanlong family may have serious consequences. How to respond to the Qianyun family's request has become a test question for the vision and wisdom of the powerful people in the Chanlong family. Every time Elder Cicada comes to Giwan Hall, the time is relatively fixed. A new batch of boundary beads were just delivered yesterday. Judging from the time, Elder Cicada may come to Giwan Hall at any time in the past 2 days. Xuanlong Stone follows the rules," said neatly. Xuanlong Jinghong took a deep breath and calmed down slightly. "Elder Shi, there is no need to be polite. It has been many, many years since the spiritual desolate secret realm heard of the death of a god." An elder of the Xuanlong family muttered to himself. An hour later, a somewhat upset Xuanlong Jinghong, full of worries, rubbed his aching eyebrows, left Mingxintang, and walked leisurely. Xuanlong Jinghong listened and sighed softly. This cannot be blamed on the stewards and halls outside who collect world beads. The family's resources and expenses for acquiring world beads have increased several times in the past 2 years. But it is still getting more and more difficult to buy world beads. In the past 2 years, chaos has continued throughout the Linghuang secret realm. The supply of world beads in all major areas has been affected. There are fewer and fewer people selling world beads, and there are people who are hoarding and plundering world beads. There are more and more rare world beads, and it is becoming more and more difficult to buy. I do not know how long it has been. Elder Xuanlong didn't make any requests, but I'm worried that Elder Cicada may leave the Xuanlong family soon. Xuanlong Jinghong coughed slightly, interrupting the discussion of several elders. He looked at the master of Qianlin Hall who was reporting, and asked in a deep voice, "Is there any other news?" This news was shocking enough that everyone in the hall took a breath of air. Xuanlong Jinghong entered the main hall, looked around, and saw that the main hall was spotless, everything was in order, and there was no fault at all, so he couldn't help but nodded secretly. There are still 2 unconfirmed news. One is that I heard that many powerful gods from the demon clan have been gathering in the Gigzu domain recently. Because of the strange movements of the powerful demon clan, there are many powerful gods who are reclusive in various places. He also began to go to the Gigzu domain. Secondly, there were rumors that a war between gods and gods broke out in the northwest wilderness of the Fenglong domain a few days ago. It seemed that a conflict broke out between the dominating demon god and the gods who came to the secret realm of the spiritual wilderness under the command of the Lord of Heaven. A battle broke out in the secret realm of the northwest wilderness of Fenglong domain. The space of a secret realm was completely destroyed and shattered. At the same time, the terrain of hundreds of thousands of square kilometers of the entire northwest wilderness outside the secret realm was also completely changed. Someone at the scene found traces of the divine blood. There is news that one of the gods that the demons came to has died and was killed by the gods who dominate the heaven. The frowning Xuanlong Jinghong waved his hand gently. Qianlin Hall master bowed his head and slowly exited the hall. Huanlong Jinghong glanced at the elders in the hall. Elders, I just received Qinlin yesterday. The head of the Yun family is asking for help, hoping that our Xuanlong family can support the Qinyun family with a batch of divine crystals. We have been friends with the Qinyun family for hundreds of years. What do you elders think about this matter? Huanlongshi has seen the patriarch. A voice appeared in Huanlong Jinghong's ears, and Huanlong Jinghong suddenly woke up. When he looked up, he realized that he had arrived outside the Giwen Hall without knowing it. Elder Cicada has come to Giwen Hall these days. Have you made any requests? Huanlong Jinghong asked casually. People are forgetful. The notification from the Ancient God Society only temporarily alerted each family for a period of time. After a while, everyone no longer took the notification seriously. When things came to a head, the families were involved in disputes. There are a few people who can calmly face sudden crises, and even if you can calm down, the other party may not be able to calm down. Many people have already turned a deaf ear to the Ancient God Society's report back then. Besides, these conflicts have been ignored until now. No evidence was found that the demons were involved in the provocation. Another elder shook his head and sighed. Clan leader, if the family can't continue to provide boundary beads to Elder Huanlong, I'm worried. Huanlongshi hesitated for a moment. Huanlong Jinghong was shocked when he heard this. Did Elder Cicada say something to you? Elder Cicada didn't say anything to me. This is just my own feeling. When I came here last time, Elder Cicada had a rare night of drinking with me, talked a lot, and finally gave me a formation disc. Huanlong Jinghong was about to say something. Suddenly, he felt a powerful abnormal aura coming from outside. This aura made him feel a little palpitated. He turned his head sharply and saw Zizu outside the hall. In the direction of the courtyard, a golden beam of light with a terrifying aura soared into the sky from the purple bamboo courtyard. Golden Summoner. Author, Z.Y. Hu. Chapter 1115. The golden beam of light that soared into the sky from the purple bamboo courtyard appeared for a very short time. It only lasted for less than 2 or 3 seconds, that is, it took only the blink of an eye to take a breath. Time has already made them feel enough pressure and shock to those powerful men above demigods living in the inner courtyard of Huanlong's house and Tianfang City. Everyone, including Huanlong Jinghong, felt like the secret mandala had sensed the aftermath of a violent earthquake in just 2 or 3 seconds. The powerful and sacred aura originated from the direction of Zizuyuan, and in just 2 seconds, within 3 seconds, shock waves spread out in circles within a 1,000-mile radius of Tianfang City, causing the secret mandala of Huanlong Jinghong to tremble 6 times before the huge coercion suddenly disappeared. 6th level god, Huanlong Jinghong's eyes widened, and his head was numb with shock. He could hardly believe what just happened. He remembered that Huanlong Chen was only at level 4 when he came to Huanlong's house. God, how come you have advanced to the 6th level of God in the past 3 or 4 years? Not to mention others, he himself has stayed at this level for more than 60 years and has not yet had the opportunity to break through again. Is this the difference between geniuses and mortals? The news that the talented and powerful Xuanlong Chan of the Huanlong family had been in seclusion for several years and had advanced to the 6th level of deity suddenly spread from Tianfang City to all directions. For a god-level powerhouse, advancing to the 6th level and igniting 6 rays of divine flames is a state that is close to touching the gods. For a family, it is absolutely of great significance. The Huanlong family is in a state of excitement. 3 days later, on a sunny morning with birds chirping and flowers fragrant, Xiaopingan walked out of the secret room of Ziza courtyard with a calm face and came to the yard. He looked up at the morning glories hanging on the corridor of the yard with a smile. Are the flowers blooming? It's been more than 3 years. Time flies so fast. Xiaopingan said softly to himself, stretched out his hand and picked off a purple morning glory. This morning glory was planted by Huanlong Chan himself. In this purple bamboo courtyard where there are famous flowers and exotic herbs everywhere, this ordinary morning glory seems a little different. No one else understood why Huan Chan planted such a morning glory in the yard, thinking it was Huan Chan's special preference. In fact, only Huan Chan himself knew the purpose of planting this morning glory. It's just a reminder to himself, don't forget the tragic experiences he and his mother had at Huanlong's house. This place does not belong to him. The only thing that really belongs to him is this morning glory. He and his mother lived in a shabby house. When she was staying at home, the only flower that she could see growing in the corner outside through the window of her home was this ordinary morning glory. At that time, no one in the entire Huanlong family cared what Huanlong Chen saw. But today, every plant and tree in the purple bamboo courtyard is carefully decorated by garden masters. Xiaopinggan looked outside the Ziza courtyard, waved his hand gently, and the restrictions on the purple bamboo courtyard were lifted. He said softly, "Come in." The door of Zizuyuan was gently pushed open, and Huanlong Jinghong walked in with a smile on his face. When Huanlong Jinghong walked into the yard, he turned around and closed the door himself, as kindly as the neighbor's old man. Seeing Xiaopinggan standing in front of the blooming morning glories, twirling a flower with his fingers, the expression on his face seemed to be a smile but not a smile. There was an unspeakable artistic conception. In his heart, Huanlong Jinghong felt the Huanlong Chan in front of him. It's very different from before. Congratulations to Elder Cicada, congratulations to Elder Cicada. Elder Cicada has advanced to the 6th level of divine status this time, which has greatly enhanced the prestige of our Huanlong family. Huanlong Jinghong smiled boldly and asked in a consultative tone, 6th level. The realm of the god is extraordinary. It only takes 3 more rays of divine flames to become a god at the fastest. Therefore, according to the habits of the ancient god blood family, if there is an elder in the family who advances to the 6th level of god, the whole family must hold a ceremony. A grand lantern burning enthronement ceremony spanning 3 mountains to celebrate the announcement. I wonder if Elder Cicada wants to hold it at home. The burning lantern celebration of climbing over 3 mountains is a certain tradition of the descendants of the ancient gods. The meaning of climbing over 3 mountains is to continue to climb the 3 mountains and break through 3 important spiritual barriers. Facing Xiaopinggan, who came out this time, Huanlong Jinghong's tone became more polite than before. Xiaopinggan gently shook his head, "Clan chief, there is endless turmoil in various places at the moment, so there is no need for the Chanlong family to create extra problems. Anyway, everyone outside should already know that the Chanlong family has a powerful 6th level god sitting in charge. I believe this pair there are benefits to the Huanlong family. At least it can make many people give up the idea of being enemies of the Huanlong family. After all, everyone knows that once I advance to the 6th level god, I may have a weapon that can rival the 7th level god. Strength, and the powerful gods of this level of ancient god blood descendants generally will not take action easily and let themselves be involved in wars with other ancient god blood descendants' families." Huanlong Jinghong was slightly startled. What does this mean? It sounded like the sensation of the past few days was deliberately created by Huanlong Chan, but this idea only flashed in Huanlong Jinghong's consciousness. After moving for a moment, a smile appeared on Huanlong Jinghong's face, grinning so wide. Of course, a god of the 6th level or above is only a few steps away from becoming a god. Who would take the risk of falling and fight to the death with an equally matched opponent for no reason? Elder Cicada has a bright future, and others naturally know it. In the past few days, I have received congratulatory letters from hundreds of elders of ancient god blood families. Our Huanlong family has not had a 6th level god elder for many, many years. The Lingxi family still has generous gifts to send. Huanlong Jinghong seemed to have remembered something, with an apologetic expression on his face, and glanced at Xiaopinggan. I have allocated a huge sum of money to ask the family's business groups and halls to increase their efforts to fight against the enemy with the intensity of collecting beads. The family will receive more New World beads in the next few months. In the past 2 years, the collection of world beads has been unfavorable for the family, but Elder Chan has just made do with it. Seeing that Huanlong Jinghong was still deliberately pretending to be stupid and avoiding the question, Xiaopingan said directly, everything the Huanlong family has done for me in the past few years, since the patriarch has guessed that I were about to leave Huanlong's house, so if you have anything to say, just say it. It's hard to say when I'll be back next time. Hearing what Xiaopingan said, Huanlong Jinghong put away the smile on his face, sighed sadly, looked into Xiaopingan's eyes, and asked sincerely, with you in charge of Huanlong's house, everything will be fine. It's different, can you not leave? The Chanlong family will try their best to provide you with the resources you need. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, ZY Hu. Chapter 1116. Xiaopingan already understood the sincerity of Huanlong Jinghong and the meaning of the Huanlong family, but he just smiled and shook his head. Actually, for a 6th level god, whether it is between the Huanlong family and Tianfang City sitting in charge, the difference is not big. If I sit in Tianfang City, those who dare to come to trouble the Chanlong family must be sure to deal with me before they come. On the contrary, if I am not in Tianfang City, those who want to deal with Shanlong's family will come. The people of the Long family will definitely deal with me first, because I am the hope of the Chanlong family. When I am here, the Chanlong family's strongest bloodline is here. If I die, the Chanlong family will die. I leave Tianfang City. With the Huanlong family, their whereabouts are elusive, but for the Huanlong family, it's actually better. So, a few days ago, you deliberately released the aura of the 6th level god to let people outside know. Huanlong Jinghong understood a little bit, but he was even more shocked and unbelievable. If all this was deliberate, then mean. You didn't just advance to the 6th level of god, but you have advanced to the 6th level of God a long time ago. Huanlong Jinghong was a little numb from the shock. Xiaopingan didn't explain too much, he just looked at the surprised face of Huanlong Jinghong and said calmly, I have been taken care of by the Huanlong family these days. Before I leave, this is the last thing I do for the Huanlong family. Well, as long as the name Huanlong Chen doesn't die for one day, the peace of the Huanlong family can be guaranteed for one day. You have to leave now. Although he had made some preparations in his heart, Huanlong Jinghong still didn't expect that this moment would come so soon. Xiaopingan nodded. The New World beads have been delivered, you can still choose them. There are no realm beads that I need among the newly delivered realm beads this time. Xiaopingan's eyes have moved away from the morning glory in his hand and looked into the distance. The resources needed now are for the Chanlong family. It is said to be a bottomless pit. If the Chanlong family has these resources and invests these resources in young people, it will be better for the Chanlong family and there will be more hope. In the future, let's meet in the world. Huanlong Jinghong's heart was still overwhelmed by the shock that Huanlong Chan had already advanced to the 6th level of God. The voice of Huanlong Chan was still lingering in his ears, but his whole body was like water in the water. Like a reflection, it slowly became blurry as it swayed. When Huanlong Jinghong realized what was happening, there was nothing in front of the blooming morning glories in the corridor. There was no longer any figure of Huanlong Kakeda just before his eyes, it merged into the void and disappeared. Looking at the empty purple bamboo courtyard in front of him, Huanlong Jinghong was stunned for a moment before he remembered something. He just came out. When did he go to Giwan Hall? How did he know that there were no boundary beads in Giwan Hall that he needed? Farewell to the Huanlong family. When I really have to leave, I'm still a little bit reluctant to leave. It would be better if this relaxing life can last for another year or two. The sky in the sky 100 miles away from Tianfang City, Xiaopinggan looked at the vibrant Tianfang City under his feet, and said softly that in the past few years in the Xuanhuan family, he had safely completed two important advancements. In Xiaopinggan's experience, it's a rare experience. Yes, Huanlong Jinghong guessed it right just now. Xiaopinggan did not just advance to the 6th level of God. He actually advanced to the 6th level of God more than 2 years ago. This time he advanced to the 6th level. God Lord, the biggest help came not from the boundary pearl and some secret method, but from the expansion of Xiaopinggan's Lingxiao city, which allowed his kingdom's strength to expand rapidly in a short period of time, and the territory's population increased rapidly. Xiaopinggan's expansion of the kingdom of God this time was too fast. After a long period of accumulation, the kingdom of God formed by several powerful demigods from the Gru kingdom, the Minjiao kingdom, the Flying Scythe kingdom, the New God Alliance and the Day kingdom was established. In front of the immortal legion led by Xiaopinggan, they were like chickens and tile dogs, instantly disintegrating. Xiaopinggan's Lingxiao city annexed more than 100 cities at once, plundered countless resources, minerals, and territory, and its population suddenly exceeded 200 million. These destroyed kingdoms of gods are actually not weak among the kingdoms of powerful demigods. The demigod kings of those kingdoms have spent countless years doing whatever they can to run their own kingdoms. Devouring and absorbing various mineral resources everywhere, opening up territories, and accumulating population strength. However, their efforts are just meat in front of the powerful gods and immortal legions like Xiaopinggan. Even when they were destroyed, they had no idea where the army led by Xiaopinggan came from. For Xiaopinggan, when Xiaopinggan killed them and occupied their main city and temple, there was no psychological burden at all, because those guys were all damn garbage and were used as sacrifices in those kingdoms of gods. The corpses of ordinary people who were used to practice evil methods had already piled up like mountains. After Xiaopinggan destroyed the garbage, he held several salvation ceremonies before clearing away the evil and violent atmosphere in many cities. The land area that Lingxiao City can control at this moment has reached more than 43 million square kilometers of land area, more than 100 million square kilometers of land radiation area, and more than 12 million square kilometers of sea area. All previous strategic goals have been achieved. At this moment, Lingxiao City has become a veritable Lingxiao kingdom. It is now in a stage of rapid development and is changing with each passing day. New settlements, wasteland villages, new towns, and fortresses are built almost every day. New ones are built almost every month. Cities appeared and the land area increased every day. It was precisely because of the growth of the secret mandala that Xiaopinggan's strength silently completed another leap, which prompted the 6th ray of divine flame on the temple altar to be ignited. Before, Xiaopinggan had never thought that the expansion of Lingxiao City would prompt him to ignite the 6th ray of divine flame so quickly. The reason why he wanted to leave Huanlong's house this time was because Xiaopinggan did not tell him for fear of hurting Huanlong, who is also a god. Jinghong, because of the past 3 years of cultivating in the Huanlong family, and with the blessing of a large number of world beads and bronze treasure trees, he has made a huge breakthrough in the mechanism puppet technique, and he has mastered many more spiritual skills. He felt that he was close to igniting the 7th ray of divine flame, but at this time, the world beads that the Chanlong family could provide him were getting less and less, and they were almost at a standstill, not to mention those rare and precious world beads. So, it's time to leave Huanlong's house. Return to the ruins realm. There are strong demigods in Tianfang City who say that they seem to have discovered something extraordinary there, which has attracted the strong men from the side of the demon god and the side of the heavenly Dao to fight there. Because the blessed boy god is here, what happened in Tianfang City and the Huanlong family could hardly escape the eyes and ears of Xiaopinggan, who was even more well informed than the Huanlong Jinghong. Xiaopinggan looked towards the east, and then strode away. His figure suddenly became illusory, and he strode towards the east, one step only 1,000 meters away. After running like this for a few steps, then, the figure of a quafa with and two yellow snakes flashed on his body and merged into Xiaopinggan's body. Xiaopinggan's speed in the sky suddenly increased. From the beginning, one step was several thousand meters, and it suddenly became 100 miles in one step. The figure is incredibly fast, like a fleeting light passing through the void, disappearing into the sky in the blink of an eye. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1117. The Gigza realm is a very special place in the secret realm of Linghuang. The entire Gigza realm is an infinitely vast sea. According to legend, an 8th-level divine master once flew across the Gigza realm for decades, still unable to touch the boundary of Gigza domain. In the sky of the entire Gigza region, large streams of water can be seen everywhere in the naturally formed space channels in the sky, as small as a gurgling stream, as large as a rushing river, from tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of meters in the sky, injected into the endless vast sea of Gigza domain. Countless water vapor is flying in the sky, flying and flying with the strong wind, which turns the entire Gigza territory into a world made of water. Under the sun, rainbows are everywhere in the sky of Gigza territory. Here there is water in the sky and water underground. Many strange beasts in the sea will even fly out of the sea and fly into the sky on the water vapor and wind and clouds, soaring in groups in the sky like a flock of birds. Sometimes, the terrifying beast hidden in the sea spits out waterspouts, sweeping from the sea into the sky, sweeping over all the sea fish and sea beasts flying in the sky, and then leaps out of the sea, revealing its huge body like a mountain. It opened its huge mouth like a giant whale swallowing shrimps, swallowing all the fish and sea beasts flying in the sky within a radius of several thousand meters in one bite. When the giant beast fell from the sky, the ground shook and the waves were hundreds of meters high, rushing in all directions like a tsunami. This is just the scene above the water, but below the water, in the depths of the endless sea, is another scene. In the entire secret realm of spiritual desolation, the Gigza domain is the only place where mortals cannot be seen, because mortals cannot survive in this world full of water and can only become the bottom of the food chain, even if they are strong at the level of demigods. Everyone is terrified when they come in, as if they are walking on thin ice, because the real Gigza territory, what the strong men in the spiritual desolate secret realm call the Gigza territory, is actually not above the water. There is nothing on the water in the Gigza territory except the sky. The real Gigza domain is this endless sea. Gigza refers to the world under the water. This world is endlessly deep and has endless mysteries. At this moment, under the tens of thousands of meters of water in the Gigza region, a triangular sea beast with a length of more than 500 meters and a long tail was soaring rapidly on the bottom of the sea and rushing up to the surface. On the head of the sea beast, Xiaopinggan was sitting cross-legged with a calm expression. Besides Xiaopinggan, there were two injured people supporting each other. These two people, a man and a woman, were wearing bloody taboos. The armors were bleak and miserable. They looked like a couple, but their cultivation level was only at the demigod level. Not long after, the huge triangular sea beast flew out from under the water with a crash. A strong wind appeared under the sea beast, holding the huge sea beast and flying directly on the sea surface, like a giant bomber crossing the sky, startling the nearby people. Many flying sea beasts and fish quickly got into the sea. This huge triangular sea beast is one of the overlords in the Gigza world. It is called Axe Dragon. It is famous for its body that resembles a giant axe. It is born with the ability to control feng shui and has an extremely ferocious temperament. Even in the sea, it is dozens of times larger than this one. Do not dare to provoke strange beasts easily. In the sky nearby, there were several huge water columns pouring into the ruins from a height of more than 10,000 meters. The strong wind blew up the water vapor all over the sky, covering the sky with clouds and mist. There are several space passages in the sky near here. You should leave from here. The Gigzu domain is turbulent at the moment. It is too dangerous to reach the demigod realm. Xiaoping'an pointed at a waterfall in the sky in the distance. The two men and women said, "Thank you so much for your life-saving grace." The man glanced at Xiaoping'an gratefully, and he and the woman bowed to Xiaoping'an. "May I ask your benefactor's name? In the future, my husband and I will definitely repay you for this gift. Dingshui Pearl is also a treasure that my husband and I just got, please accept it. I saved you not because I care about your repayment. I just saw that you and your wife were facing the danger of life and death and still persisted in living and dying together. It's a bit rare, so I saved your life. This is a drop of water for me. It's useless, you can keep it, it's useless to talk more. If we meet again in the future, I will tell you who I am. Go ahead," Xiaoping'an said, waving his hands. The man and woman beside him had been an irresistible divine power rolled up, and it flew towards a space passage in the sky involuntarily. In the blink of an eye, it passed through the space passage and disappeared into the sky. Xiaoping'an watched the couple leave, looked away, and then exhaled. This couple of demigods from the Sanshan clan reminded Xiaoping'an of some past events, so Xiaoping'an couldn't help but take action. Help! This Guisu territory is too big. Xiaoping'an has been in the Guisu territory for more than a month. These days, he has been underwater and has not made any move. The combined strength of the demigods and gods he met there have been less than 3 waves, and there has been no conflict or friction. Everyone went his own way. Most of the people who came to Gigzu came for the treasures in Gigzu. It was just that they couldn't bear the suffering of the couple today. I just meddle in some of my own business. After the couple left, Xiaoping looked at the sea again. Several strange runes flashed in the depths of his eyes, which were extremely profound. Then, Xiaoping patted the one sitting down and flew into the sky. "Axe Dragon, thank you for taking care of me these days, go ahead." The huge axe dragon raised its head and let out a long cry of moo. In the sky, reluctantly circled around Xiaoping'an, and then plunged from the sky into the Gigzu domain, disappearing in the blink of an eye. At this time, the smile on Xiaoping'an's face showed a bit of coldness, and he was waiting quietly in the sky here. Only after 5 or 6 minutes, the sea under Xiaoping'an's feet suddenly became lively. Wow, phew. Wow, phew. Wow, phew. Huge golden seas the size of houses spiraled through the sea water and rushed out of the sea like cannonballs. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 golden conchs rushed to the sky. Then, inside each golden conch, a demigod-level guy emerged from all of them and immediately surrounded Xiaoping'an in the sky, and those huge golden conches the size of a house, like rockets that completed the second stage of separation, fell back into the sea. "Elder, this kid was nosy just now. He broke up our battle formation with an axe dragon and took the man and woman away." Among the more than 20 people who rushed out, one of them had a fat face. The meaty guy pointed at Xiaoping'an and shouted. The so-called elder was a guy with a white face and no beard, wearing a battle armor full of thorns and barbs, and his aura looked a bit cold. This guy had the aura of a first-order god. He looked at Xiaoping'an, domineering and cold. He smiled and said, "Boy, you are so brave. You actually dare to meddle in the affairs of our Emperor's battle group. If you have the guts, sign up and see who is so unafraid of death." Xiaoping'an still has the same face as Huan Longchan at this moment, but the aura on his body is a little obscure, and it only reveals a hint of demigod cultivation. People who don't know him, seeing him, would never think that this is a person who has already a 6th level god so powerful that it can make people tremble. Are your Emperor's battle group just bullying the weak and specializing in robbing the treasures found in the sea by lone people? For the sake of the human race, I have given you face today and have not taken any action against you. If you get out now, I can pretend that nothing happened. Boy, who do you think you are? The people around him laughed wildly, as if they were watching a joke. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1118. Shut the hum up. The white-faced and beardless elder of the Emperor's Heaven battle group shouted loudly. Everyone present only heard a crisp sound of pop. The powerful demigod who had just started teasing Xiaoping'an, he was actually slapped away by their elder. This turn of events made everyone present slightly shocked and fell into silence for a moment. When the demigods from the Emperor's battle group who were laughing around saw this, they stopped talking and looked at each other in confusion. They didn't know why their elders were so crazy. The elder's face turned towards Xiaoping'an. As soon as he stood up, he hugged his fists and forced a smile on his face. I would like to introduce myself formally. My name is Mu Yunzi, and I am the elder of the Huangtian battle group. There may be a bit of misunderstanding about what happened today. The original members of the Skigzu domain, this is where the strong prey on the weak, and everything is based on strength. The brothers in our battle group saw that a man and a woman found the Ding Shui bead, and the two sides fought for each other, using the more to bully the less. It may be a bit unethical, but in the Skigzu domain, it is not ethical. Place, since the man and woman did not have the strength to protect the Ding Shui pearl, and they came to the Gigzu domain to search for treasures, they deserved to be snatched away. Since you have taken the man and woman away today, then forget about what happened today. Your Excellency and our Imperial Heaven battle group will go their separate ways from now on. How about we just let this go? The people around the Emperor's battle group were shocked when they saw their elders suddenly being so reasonable and well behaved in front of Xiaoping'an. According to other people's thoughts, their elders were all here. This time, that boy of the Emperor Tian chapter is not given a satisfactory explanation, that boy's life will be decided here. This is their basic operation. But everything changed too quickly. At this time, no one dared to speak, because in the Huangtian battle group, they all knew that the elder Muiyun was thoughtful and ruthless. His nickname was White-Faced Snake. It was definitely not something they could do. The object of questioning and joking. For those who dared to question this elder last time, the trees on the grave have now grown 10 meters high. Xiaoping'an squinted at Mu Yunzi, and suddenly smiled. Yes, if you can still make 3 points of truth, then I won't argue with your Emperor's battle group. Forget what happened today, you let them. Let's go first, you stay, I have a few words to ask you. Mu Yunzi turned around and said to the demigods next to him with a majestic look, you guys wait for me on the snail boat first, I will come soon. The demigods of the Huangtian battle group did not dare to disobey the elder's order. Although they were confused and didn't know what was going on, they still had to obey the order. In the blink of an eye, they were like dumplings. Likewise, they all flew into the water and left here. Watching those men leave, Mu Yunzi's originally straight waist became slightly rickety without realizing it. A humble and flattering smile appeared on his face. Under Xiaoping'an's calm gaze, Mu Yunzi's cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Senior, I have offended many people today. Thank you for your magnanimity. I don't care about the faults of small people. I wonder what your instructions are. If other members of the Emperor's battle group who had just left saw this scene, many of their jaws would probably drop in shock. How do you know that if you fight with me, you will all die today? Xiaoping'an looked at Mu Yunzi and asked directly. There was even more cold sweat on Mu Yunzi's head. He didn't even dare to wipe the cold sweat. He just continued to smile on his face. Senior's eyes are like a god. I don't dare to hide it. I got it in the secret of the gods before. I have a treasure called the glazed tribulation destroying magic lamp. This glazed tribulation destroying magic lamp will remind me when there is a danger of death. Just now I saw the senior squint his eyes slightly. I got the glazed tribulation destroying magic lamp. I suddenly extinguished one, and I knew that it was me and my subordinates who made a mistake today. Senior did not care about us before. It was Senior who did not want to kill at will. It was also our blessing. We were ignorant and failed our Senior. I'm really ashamed of my kindness. When he said he felt ashamed, Mu Yunzi wiped the cold sweat on his forehead a little. It's true that snakes have their own way, and rats have their own ways. This guy is so smart, and even the advanced deity is so flexible, no wonder he can survive to this day. Xiaopinggan sighed in his heart, feeling very impressed by Mu Yun. The glazed tribulation magic lamp that this guy mentioned suddenly aroused Xiaopinggan's interest. Take out your glazed tribulation magic lamp, let me see. The muscles on Mu Yunzi's face twitched, but he did not dare to resist. He could only take out the Liuli tribulation magic lamp, held it respectfully in his hands, and handed it to Xiaopinggan with a smile on his face. Senior, this glazed tribulation magical lamp has been fused by me before, and it is no longer useful to others. If Senior can use this magical lamp, it is natural for me to dedicate it to Senior today. This guy was afraid that he would be greedy for his magic lamp, so he deliberately said something to himself. Xiaopinggan ignored him and directly took the glazed tribulation magic lamp over and looked at it carefully. The glazed tribulation magic lamp was a little more than 3 feet tall. It was blue with emerald green and reddish. It was shining brightly. Like a colorful coral, it looks indeed extraordinary. Xiaopinggan felt that there was indeed Mu Yunzi's soul and blood god mark on the glazed tribulation magic lamp. Once the soul and blood god mark was erased, the glazed lamp with the magic lamp of transcending tribulation will also break by itself. There are 7 lotus-shaped lamps on this glazed tributary magic lamp. 4 of them have been extinguished now, and 3 are still on. Among the 4 lamps that have been extinguished, there is 1 lamp, and even the lotus-shaped lamp has been broken. It was open and covered with spider web-like cracks, which looked a bit strange. This glazed calamity lamp still has 3 lights on. Does it mean it can warn you 3 more times? Xiaopinggan asked. Yes, Senior, Mu Yunzi replied. Then why is this lamp broken? Mu Yunzi glanced at Xiaopinggan and carefully replied, Ahem, just now when Senior squinted his eyes, I was shocked. The lamp of this lamp broke and the lamp went out, so I knew Senior is an expert. I have encountered several crises before. One time I faced a 3rd-level god. This lamp was not broken. The Senior's cultivation level is above that of a 3rd-level god. Give this lamp back to you, Xiaopinggan said, and directly threw the glazed tribulation magic lamp in his hand to Mu Yunzi. Mu Yunzi took the Liuli tribulation magic lamp and put it back into his mandala. He finally breathed a sigh of relief and was sure that his life could be saved. Grandma, I have been really unlucky these past few days. How could he have imagined that one of his men had caused trouble today, and it was a character that he and the entire battle group could not afford to offend. If it weren't for his cleverness, he and those in the battle group would have turned into ashes here today. Senior, do you have any other instructions? With so many people from your Emperor's battle group coming to the Guisu territory, it seems that they have been here for a long time, right? Senior has a sharp eye. Indeed, our Emperor's Heaven battle group has been fighting in the Gigzu domain for decades. We are one of the battle groups born and raised in this Emperor's Sky region. Although our Emperor's Sky battle group is not very strong either. The reputation has not even broken out of the Guisu territory, but I am still familiar with this Guisu territory. Oh, that's right. How much useful information do you know about the Gigzu domain this time? Let's hear it. Regarding this question, Mu Yunzi did not dare to lie at all, because he knew that the spiritual skills mastered by the powerful gods were unbelievable. They were close to gods. Who knew whether his lies could be heard by others, so he could only swallow a gulp. After exchanging words, he honestly explained, the news we heard was that the earliest rumors were that the Yuanji temple appeared in the trench near Haizu city in the Gigzu region, which attracted many powerful gods to explore, and a war broke out. But according to as far as I know, this should be a rumor. What was discovered in the trench near Haizu city was not the Yuanji temple, but the demon tomb of a Dachan siren in ancient times. I heard that the Dachan Siren liked to collect all kinds of treasures during his lifetime, so that there are indeed many treasures in the demon tomb, but now it is estimated that they have all been plundered by the first strong ones to enter. Then why are there so many powerful gods coming to the Gigza domain now? Mu Yunzi glanced at Xiaopingan carefully and pondered for a moment. There may be three reasons. One definite reason is that in recent months, large-scale divine crystal mines and minerals have been discovered in some places in the Gigza domain. Some secret realms that contain many divine treasures have attracted many powerful people to come here to hunt for treasures. As for the second reason, I guess it has something to do with the Yuanji temple. Oh, didn't you say that the news that the Yuanji temple was discovered in the trench near Haizu city was false? Why is it still related to the Yuanji temple? Xiaopingan asked rhetorically. Ahem, senior, this is my personal analysis. According to historical records, Yuanji temple has appeared more than 10 times before, but these 10 times, they have all appeared in the other 11 of the 13 realms of the spiritual desolate secret realm. A strange and top secret place in the great domain. Among the entire spiritual wasteland secret realm, there are only two great domains, Gigza domain and God and Demon domain, that have no record of the appearance of the Yuanji temple. According to the pattern of the appearance of the Yuanji temple, this time the Yuanji temple, if it is going to appear, it is very likely to appear in the Gigza domain. So many powerful people heard that Yuanji temple appeared before and came here without hesitation. Xiaopingan's eyes moved. Yes, you make sense, but what about the third reason? When it came to the third reason, Mu Yunzi looked to the left and right with some guilt, as if he was afraid of being heard by others. He actually directly sent a message to Xiaopingan. Is this the third reason? I have also heard that the gods under the command of the demon god and the Lord of Heaven have already entered the Gigza realm. Naturally, these gods will not do it for trivial matters when they enter the Gigza realm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1119. The information Mu Yunzi said was still valuable. Comparing it with the information Xiaopingan had heard before, Xiaopingan gradually became clearer and had a clearer grasp of the current situation in Gigza territory. Not to mention anything else, just because the Yuanji temple may appear in the Guisu territory in the future, the Guisu territory cannot be peaceful, and the powerful gods from all sides will definitely flock to it. As for the fact that the powerful gods under the command of the demon god and the heavenly master entered the Gigza domain, it is a bit elusive and difficult to verify. If you don't want others to know the whereabouts of the gods, it is impossible for others to know. Okay, I understand, Xiaopingan nodded. There's nothing else to do. You can leave. Remember to restrain your subordinates. If you mess with me next time, you may not be so lucky. Definitely, definitely. What the senior said is that the situation in Gigza domain is indeed tense now. Powerful gods from all over the world are swarming in. There are dangers everywhere. Our battle group is ready to let the demigod-level strongmen leave Gigza temporarily. Let's go somewhere else to avoid the limelight. Mu Yunzi felt as if he was being pardoned and nodded quickly, but suddenly, he seemed to remember something again. After taking a look at Xiaopingan, his eyes moved and he bravely asked, I dare to ask, I don't know why Senior came to the ruins territory. Seeing Xiaopingan's bright sword-like eyes looking at him, Mu Yunzi suddenly panicked again, and laughed quickly. Senior, don't get me wrong, it's not that I want to inquire about Senior's secrets, it's just that Senior's style is admirable. I just want to see what I can do to help Senior and repay Senior. Although my strength is not as good as Senior's, I have been in this Gigza domain for many years. The information is pretty good. If you need help, Senior, just ask. This is the first time that Xiaopingan has seen such a naughty and powerful god. This Mu Yunzi is a bit interesting. I came to Gigzu domain because I heard that Yuanji temple might be born here, so I came to take a look, Xiaopingan said calmly. Mu Yunzi's eyes suddenly lit up. This means that senior has plenty of time now, but he doesn't have anything in particular that he wants to do, right? What do you want to say? Mu Yunzi suddenly became energetic. I wonder if senior is interested in making a deal with our war group. Xiaopingan suddenly laughed and became a little interested. Deal, if your war group has anything to trade with me, tell me. It's like this. Senior, do you know that there is a big city in the Gigzu domain called Sujing? This Sujing city is where the Jiaran imperial court is located. Although the Jiaran clan in the Gigzu domain has been worse than before in the past tens of thousands of years, but it is still a major force in the Gigzu domain, and the strength of the Jiaran imperial court is comparable to that of the top ancient god bloodline family. I know, so what? Just 2 months ago, the 6th prince of the Jiaran imperial court in Sujing city went out hunting. He was killed and looted. His body was cut into pieces and the dragon beads and dragon silk were seized. The Jiao emperor was furious and issued a reward order for his arrest. After a long period of tracking the murderer of the 6th prince Jiao Ren, our Huangtian battle group has locked one of the murderers and is now pursuing that murderer. If senior is willing, we can cooperate. With senior's strength, as long as we find that murderer. As for the murderer, senior can easily take down that person if he takes action. When the time comes, senior will take 70% of the reward from the Jiaoran imperial court that the murderer received, and we only need 30%. What do you think, senior? How strong is this murderer? Xiaopingan asked. This murderer is a first-order god, and his strength is about the same as mine. He has fought against me before, but he ran away. That guy is extremely cunning and cruel, Mu Yunzi replied. Is there more than one murderer? Indeed, there is more than one person. According to the news from Jiaran Imperial Court, there are 3 murderers. In addition to this first-level god, there is also a second-level god and a fifth-level god. However, after committing the crime, these 3 murderers they separated soon after. The price of the reward offered by the Jiaran Imperial Court to the murderer of the first-order god was 2 million points of divine crystals, 2 divine crystal mineral species, 3 world tree species, 3,000 dough of sea treasures, and 3 bright pearls. 1,000 dough, 200 rare world beads, plus 30 god secret treasures. For Xiaopingan, the divine crystals, sea treasures, and pearls were meaningless to him, but the 200 rare world beads suddenly aroused his interest. Among the 200 rare world beads, even if only 1/3 is available to him, he can still use it to ignite the 7th ray of divine flame. The boundary pearl was the main purpose of his coming to Guisu territory. Xiaopingan glanced at Mu Yunzi, his profound eyes as if he had penetrated Mu Yunzi's soul. Are you worried that the murderer of the first-order god you are chasing has accomplices, or that he will fight with the other 2 the murderers gathered together, and then you thought of cooperating with me, right? Anyone can accept the reward from the Jiaoran Imperial Court. If I want to offer a reward, why do I have to deal with you? I can go find this person myself. Mu Yunzi spread his hands and looked at Xiaopingan with a sincere face. Senior's eyes are like lightning. If I want to play some tricks in front of senior, I will be humiliating myself. Senior is right, I was worried that the murderer had other accomplices or joined other murderers, so I wanted to make a deal with the senior. If the senior was around, all this would not be a problem. Of course, the senior could also accept the reward order from the Jiaran Imperial Court on his own, but, senior, if you accept the bounty order and then look for it, it will definitely consume a lot of senior's time. During this time, there is no chance that the person has been killed by other people who have accepted the bounty. Well, that makes sense. If senior cooperates with us, I have some key clues here that can track the murderer, which can greatly save senior's time and improve the efficiency of senior in finding the murderer. I believe that the 30% reward is not worth it to senior. It doesn't matter, just think of it as the cost of hiring us to help you. With our help, you don't need to be distracted by trivial matters, and you won't suffer any loss. In addition to the reward for this first order god murderer, if you encounter the rewards for the murderer and other murderers belong to the seniors. Do you have any clues to find that person? Yes, I fought with that person once, and I can find a way to track that person's whereabouts, Mu Yunzi replied confidently. Xiaopinggan looked at Mu Yunzi and suddenly smiled. It seems that I was right not to take action against you today. I let you live, and you will find a job for me. Mu Yunzi suddenly became energetic. Senior agreed. Xiaopinggan waved his hand. Let's go, take me to find that person. More than an hour later, Xiaopinggan followed Mu Yunzi to the Sea of Gigza region again, and saw a huge golden conch more than 300 meters long in the sea, 10,000 meters deep. This golden conch was floating in the sea. Looking from a distance, it looks like a golden tower, which is a bit strange. This is the snail boat of the Huangtian chapter. When Mu Yunzi led Xiaopinggan into the snail boat, the expressions of the powerful demigods from the Huangtian battle group who saw Xiaopinggan's appearance turned stiff. What are you doing standing still? Call senior. We are lucky enough to invite the senior to hunt down the murderer with us. With senior here, we will definitely succeed. The majesty returned to Mu Yunzi's face, and he shouted loudly. The people on the snail boat finally reacted. Regardless of whether they wanted to or not, they all called Xiaopinggan senior. Those powerful demigods were not stupid. Seeing that Mu Yunzi was respectful to Xiaopinggan, they all guessed that Xiaopinggan was no ordinary character. However, the identities and relationships between the two parties have changed too quickly. Okay, where is the murderer? Use whatever means you have. Xiaopinggan turned a blind eye to the people around him and said directly to Mu Yunzi. Ahem, senior, that's embarrassing. Mu Yunzi said, and with a movement of his hand, he carefully took out a metal fragment the size of a fingernail, suspended it in mid-air, and then took out a strange-shaped copper bell. Placed it on the metal fragment, began to pinch out various spells, and hit the spells on the copper bell one after another. The copper bell emits a purple light, shining on the metal fragment, and then the metal fragments swung in one direction. The golden snail boat rotated rapidly in the water like a drill, and immediately rushed towards the direction pointed by the metal fragment. In the snail boat, Mu Yunzi introduced to Xiaopinggan in a slightly reserved manner, Senior, this piece of metal fragment is the broken part of the murderer's weapon. This part of the broken weapon, plus with the secret method of the Lingzi bell, I am 50% sure that I know the approximate location of the murderer. The demigods in the Huangtian battle group looked at Mu Yunzi's Lingzi bell with envious eyes, and also looked at Mu Yunzi with a little awe. 50%, Xiaopinggan looked at Mu Yunzi speechlessly. He thought this guy had some amazing secret skills. It turned out that this was it. The success rate of 50% means that this secret method works sometimes and sometimes not. It relies partly on luck and partly is a waste of everyone's time. Ahem, senior, 50% is already very high. The opponent is also a powerful person at the level of a god. His whereabouts are secretive and difficult to track. I only need to cast the secret method twice in a row. Although the direction is not accurate once, the second time we can correct the direction, so that we will not completely lose track of the target. Otherwise, how can we find people in this vast sea? Xiaopinggan didn't say anything, but asked Mu Yunzi to arrange a room for him to rest on the snail boat, and then call him after Mu Yunzi found the target. With this little time, Xiaopinggan can also refine the array disk in the room, or tinker with the mechanism puppet technique. 7 days later, Xiaopinggan saw Mu Yunzi again, and Mu Yunzi's face was already somewhat embarrassed. Senior, give me a little more time, and we will definitely find him. That person must be not far from here. How about I let my dog try it? Xiaopinggan suggested with a calm face. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1120. Hearing Xiaoping's words, Mu Yunzi's expression was a little exciting. He thought Xiaoping was sarcastic, saying that he was not even as good as a dog. The people watching around also looked at Mu Yunzi with strange expressions. Mu Yunzi was angry in his heart and wanted to explode but didn't dare. He forced a smile on his face and was about to say something to resolve this embarrassing situation. However, he found that between Xiaoping's wave, a large black line appeared. The dog has been summoned and is circling Xiaoping, its tail wagging rapidly. Woof woof. He long shook his head excitedly. Xiaoping reached out and touched the black dragon's head. Mu Yunzi was dumbfounded. What Senior Ganking said was true, not sarcastic. Senior really summoned the dog. However, this was in the deep sea of the Gigza domain, so what was the use of summoning the dog? Senior, this dog. Mu Yunzi opened his mouth full of doubts. It's called the Black Dragon. Give the Black Dragon the piece of your weapon to sniff, Xiaoping said to Mu Yunzi. Mu Yunzi was half curious, and half wanted to see how this dog could find someone, so he took out a fragment of his weapon and handed it to the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon stepped forward, sniffed the fragment, and then he barked twice at Xiaoping, turned around and walked towards the hatch of the snail boat. Xiaoping also followed the Black Dragon towards the hatch. Mu Yunzi naturally followed and walked over. Everyone wanted to see how this dog could find someone in the Gigza domain. In the blink of an eye, everyone arrived at the hatch of the snail boat. The metal door inside the hatch opened automatically, revealing the dots of sea outside. There was a thin energy layer insulating the sea water from the inside of the hatch. And at this depth in the Gigza domain, there is not much sunlight, so the surroundings are dark, with only some luminous marine life here. But for those who are demigods and above, it doesn't matter whether there is sunlight in the depths of the Gigza domain. A simple eye technique can solve the problem. Everyone looks at the sea water in the sea area, which is clean, clear, and transparent, with all kinds of marine life. It is vivid, colorful, and magnificent, almost the same as the clear sea under the sun. The Black Dragon came to the cabin door, kicked hard without thinking, and then jumped directly into the water outside the cabin door. Just when Mu Yunzi thought that the Black Dragon was going to be squeezed into a ball of meat by the strong pressure of the deep sea, then the Black Dragon rushed into the sea, with a flash of golden light. The dark body suddenly expanded and elongated, growing scales, horns and sharp claws. In the blink of an eye, the Black Dragon's body transformed into a 20-year-old dragon under the water. The Black Dragon, which is many meters long, is extremely majestic. It is as comfortable as a fish in the water, and it is extremely free in the water. This is the legendary spirit summoning technique. Mu Yunzi's head went numb after seeing this scene. It is already very difficult for demigods and gods to master divine skills. However, on top of divine skills, there are some legendary talents. A powerful summoner who can also master summoning techniques at the divine level, turning ordinary summoning techniques into magical ones. To be honest, Muun Capital has only heard of such summoning techniques, but has never seen it. Xiaoping was already riding on the Black Dragon's neck. The Black Dragon's body swayed beautifully in the water and quickly rushed in one direction. Mu Yunzi calmed down and asked the other demigods in the battle group to follow them in a snail boat at a distance of 1,000 miles. Then he quickly rushed out of the snail boat and quickly caught up with them. The Black Dragon deliberately trailed Xiaoping by half a body, and followed the Black Dragon quickly rushing in one direction in the water. Dragons are originally mythical beasts that can control water. The Black Dragon is very fast in the water, as if there is no resistance. Compared with those strange beasts in the sea that are known for their speed, they are not inferior. Senior, is this a spiritual summoning technique? Mu Yunzi asked carefully. Well, I didn't expect that you actually know the summoning technique at the spiritual level. Xiaopinggan nodded and smiled slightly. This was the secret technique he had mastered in the Xuanhuan family in the past few years. Xiaopinggan finally discovered that he had obtained the reason why the bronze treasure tree is so eye-catching is because with the bronze treasure tree, there is a greater chance of comprehending the summoning technique of the divine skill level, and the black dragon is the first summoning skill of the divine skill level that he has comprehended. As a result, the black dragon completed its advancement and finally became worthy of its name. Mu Yunzi swallowed a sip of saliva, and secretly rejoiced in his heart for his foresight. The strong men who could master the summoning technique of the divine level were all peerless figures or big bosses from institutional families with profound and terrifying backgrounds. After swimming quickly in the water for a while, he found that the black dragon was rushing in one direction like an arrow from the string without even turning. Mu Yunzi thought of something and quickly asked, "Senior, are we like this? Will going there disturb that person?" "It doesn't matter if you are shocked, it doesn't matter. Xiaopingyan doesn't care. He is just a first-order god. As long as he finds out, the outcome is already doomed. So what if he is shocked? Can he still be allowed to run away?" After traveling in the water for almost a day and having traveled almost thousands of miles, Black Dragon brought Xiaopingyan to an unfamiliar body of water. This water area is full of plump aquatic plants, like a vast underwater grassland. There are countless red krill living in those aquatic plants. Because there are a lot of red krill here, there are also many red krill. Krill-eating fish and underwater creatures also live here. The black dragon that came here rushed directly towards a group of huge marlins. Those marlins were covered with silver fish scales, shining silver, their bodies were triangular, and their heads were several meters long like knight's spears. The cone-shaped spikes are one of the fastest swimming fish in the water. The size of each marlin is more than 30 meters long. There are hundreds of these marlins, and they are forming a school. Groups hunting red krill. The arrival of the black dragon shocked the group of marlin. The black dragon rushed into the group of marlin. The group of marlin suddenly scattered. The black dragon turned in one direction and rushed towards the scattered marlin next to it. After doing this twice, those guns one of the fish was unusual because the black dragon was chasing it all the time. Finally, when the marlin was driven out of the group of marlins by the black dragon, the belly of the huge marlin suddenly exploded, and a man wearing a dark taboo armor suddenly emerged from the body of the marlin. He glanced at this side with a stern look, then quickly ran away into the distance without saying a word. It turns out he's the one hiding in the fish. Mu Yunzi shouted and chased after the man. A sneer appeared on Xiaopinggan's face. When Mu Yunzi chased him out, he turned around and punched in another empty direction. Following the punch, the water 10,000 meters away was shattered into a vacuum by an unimaginable force. Violent shocks erupted underwater, sweeping in all directions. A big hand appeared in the vacuum, pinched it out of thin air, only to hear a scream, and a stream of plasma sprayed out from the vacuum. As the plasma sprayed, a man wearing a black taboo armor who looked exactly like the man who just escaped was in the sea. Appearing in the vacuum, it was extremely terrifying. Because of the existence of Xiaopinggan's giant hand, the taboo armor on his body has been pinched by the giant hand to create slight cracks. This puppet technique is pretty good, but it doesn't work in front of me, Xiaopinggan sneered. The dark figure roared, took out a golden rune in the shape of a flame and crushed it. The next second, a golden flame appeared, burning violently in the big hand holding him. The flame seemed to be something other than a mortal thing. As soon as the golden flame burned, the big hand dissipated a lot, and then the figure suddenly escaped from the big hand and flew away into the distance in fear. Just now Xiaopinggan just made a random move, but that person already knew that the gap in strength between himself and Xiaopinggan was too big to make up. They were so different. A first-order god, in front of Xiaopinggan, was like a rabbit meeting a lion. Interesting. Xiaopinggan smiled slightly. The golden rune that the man just crushed had a simple style and a hint of the aura of an ancient god. It seemed that it should be some kind of god that was released from the secret of the gods and could be used once. Skill runes, but that's all. Xiaopinggan punched out for the second time, and the surrounding sea water became an extension of Xiaopinggan's will in an instant. The terrifying low temperature caused the sea water to freeze. The powerful pressure and fist power swept through the entire underwater sea area and fell on it. On the body of the stagnant target person. I did. The fleeing shadow uttered the last three words, as if he wanted to explain his identity, but Xiaopinggan no longer gave him this chance. What Xiaopinggan needs is the world beads and resources to advance to the 7th level god. It won't work for anyone. The key is that this guy has a sinister face and looks like he is not a good bird. Xiaopinggan is too lazy to listen to his nonsense. When Mu Yunzi realized something was wrong and turned around, all Mu Yunzi saw was the corpse of a first-order divine powerhouse beside Xiaopinggan, who was frozen by ice but had no breath of life. That corpse was, like a frozen salted fish, his eyes were staring, his mouth was open, and there was still a trace of fear and shock on his face, which made him look a little ridiculous. Seeing the corpse, Mu Yunzi couldn't laugh. He only felt cold in his heart and shuddered uncontrollably. Xiaopinggan's face was calm as usual. The matter is done, take this body with you and let's collect the reward. This is dead. Mu Yunzi's tongue felt like it was tangled. Xiaopinggan glanced at Mu Yunzi and said, do you want him to be alive, or would it be better to turn him into ashes and take him back? I think it would be more convincing to keep the body intact. What do you think? Oh, by the way, this is him, the dragon bead on his body. Xiaopinggan said, throwing a cyan bead the size of a fist to Mu Yunzi, this dragon bead should belong to the 6th prince of Jiaoren.